These past few months, our country has been knee-deep in a fight for equality, health, and a better tomorrow. While many Americans are fearful of an uncertain future, others are using the opportunity to make change within their own communities.
Way to go!
In this episode of More in Common, we meet a young dog musher who's stepping up to lead the pack.
No one's gonna come to save you, so you've got to know how to save yourself.
Midwives fighting for equality in healthcare and childbirth.
I support moms having the type of pregnancy and birth experiences that they want.
A brewmaster taking beer to the next level.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about, the beer.
And a group of cannabis activists whose other habits may surprise you.
I used to be a Franciscan sister for 13 years, but now I've seen the light and I'm loving it.
Join us as we celebrate women across the nation working to shape a safer and stronger future for everyone. This is More in Common. These activist nuns are trading Catholic catechism for CBD.
I'm Sister Kate of Sisters of the Valley. We're known as the Weed Nuns, and we make healing products out of non-psychoactive cannabis plants.
I used to be a Franciscan sister for 13 years, but now I've seen the light and I'm loving it.
I'm Sister Alice. I'm one of the Weed Nuns. What was I going to say?
So we're here about an hour outside of Fresno. Orchards behind me, and a place where cannabis is growing high. Wow! Hello, folks.
Hi, welcome. If you don't mind, the sisters are going to sage you a little bit.
Double sage.
Do the singing.
You look like one of the most unlikely weed dealers.
When I moved here, everybody thought I was an undercover cop. This is our refrigerator where we keep the plant that we make our topical salves out. We have sisters here who don't smoke and will never smoke. We're activists, and in order to support ourselves as activists and in order to make women-owned businesses, we chose the most newly deregulating business on the planet. We were born of the Occupy movement. And when Congress declared pizza a vegetable, I declared myself a nun. And then I carried on for the next couple of years just a single crazy person, because people who put on religious garb and go out by themselves, that's pretty one step close to crazy. I was dubbed Sister Occupy, and the newspapers gave me a platform to whine about what isn't right here and what's unjust. When you're actually making the medicine, you're actually growing the plant, there's a sense that you're contributing to the healing on the planet, and we want to return to that kind of lifestyle where you feel good about what you're making. Do you know anything about weed?
I know a little bit.
Oh, come on, you could imitate it. Oh, this is our cure closet. This is where we're curing cannabis right now from our winter crop. These are our cycles of the moon. We have to follow this, that we do all our planning by the cycles of the moon. When medicine moves from the kitchen to the shipping or from shipping out to the world, we pray over it. Everything we do is done in a spiritual environment. We don't get up at 6 in the morning or read Bibles, but when it comes to all of our spirituality goes into our work.
So some of this religious iconography, what do we got going on?
Well, is this really just iconography or is this Los Angeles? Your rolling papers, you've got your pipe, she's smoking a joint.
Being a devout Catholic for most of your life, how did you feel growing up about drugs or weed?
I thought it was like cocaine and heroin too. It was all the same. You smoke a joint, you're going to end up living under an expressway. That was the attitude. But we can get the message out that not everybody who handles cannabis is a thief or a cartel member. Corn and grain, meat and milk on the table before us. Hands and hearts come together to nourish and restore us.
So what brought you folks to this table?
I decided to come off of medications, toxic medications, and start taking CBD, and it really started helping me. So I became very interested in the sisterhood, feeling I was already one of them. Sent an email to Sister Kate. She invited me for a ceremony and just fell in love with everyone. I just felt so at home.
I was the one who was the sister for 13 years in a Franciscan community, and I left for many reasons, but most especially for all the corruption. Someone had sent me a YouTube of the sisters. I looked at that and I just broke into tears. I said, that's what I want. I want to help people. I still want to be involved in healing, and I still want to be a sister. My life has been transformed. I love what I do. I love my sisters, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
What we're trying to do is set a good example of how people with differing backgrounds who never knew each other can come together and work in harmony.
And you think it is a product overall that brings people together?
I think it's our activist mission. I think we're all here because we seek change. All of us could get weed if we wanted to. That's not why we're here. We're here to connect and make change, foster change, or be an example of what change could be.
It's just part of who we are. We're quiet women, serious women, on a serious mission.
We are a gentle smashing of the patriarchy.
So last thing to do is smoke a joint.
And when they go low, that's when we go high.
When we get back, this Alaskan girl is trying to compete with the big dogs.
Being out in nature with only your dogs for transportation, you depend on them as much as they depend on you. Everyone's dependent on everyone because being out in nature with only your dogs for transportation, you depend on them as much as they depend on you.
It's considered typically a solo event.
No one's gonna come to save you, so you've got to know how to save yourself.
When I was a consistent Iditarod top 5 team, my focus was getting there as fast as I can. And now my focus is getting there as fast as I can while teaching other people in the dogs and in the state and in the trail and the history. I'm Jeff King, 4-time Iditarod champion from Denali Park, Alaska.
I'm Johanna Vidalich, I'm 15 years old, and I'm a junior dog musher.
And what was it like for the two of you, both summer and winter, just this year-round aspiration of being some of the top dog sledders around?
They're normally up and running around because they think that they're going to go running. These dogs love running. I really want to feel like that one-on-one connection with the dogs, and I think the Iditarod would be a good place to do it.
Joanna, you're kind of the pup of the team here, the little pup.
I've loved dogs ever since I was really, really young.
So this is the Husky Homestead, and you're the champion.
Welcome.
So you've got here an incredible place for off-season training, huh?
We start here in Anchorage. This orange line represents the trail that we take to Nome each year. It's been there for over 100 years.
Mushing is, physically, it's a dog pulling a sled, but emotionally, it's this connection between the dogs and the handlers. You need to know what's going on in their heads, and really, it's a lot like you're one mind out on the trail. You're feeling for them, you are taking care of them. Everyone's dependent on everyone because being out in nature with only your dogs for transportation, you depend on them as much as they depend on you. Good boy, Lucky! Good dog! They're normally up and running around because they think that they're going to go running. These dogs love running. They were bred to do it and they just adore it.
In any conditions, summer, winter, it's year-round for you.
I know that this life, it may sound all glorious and beautiful, but there's definitely some hard parts. When you're out on the trail, things can go wrong really easy. You've got to learn to deal with it on your own. And it's kind of makes you feel powerless, but also it gives you a sense of relief. You know that no one's gonna come to save you, so you've got to know how to save yourself.
Cody, put the ATV up, ready to hook up, will ya?
So we just start hugging up like normal?
You can get Thunder and
Come on, boy.
him behind swing. Good boys. Are you ready? All right, Johanna, hop on with me.
And Jeff is like the Michael Jordan of dog mushing. And what have you learned from him?
I know how to take care of the dogs, also how to be self-sufficient, and just how to have a good attitude on the trail.
Yeah, what is it like to be with your hero now?
I had to control my fangirliness. And even now, I try and do everything possible to make sure that Jeff is pleased with me, and I really, really enjoy being able to work with him.
I love running with these dogs.
What dogs?
These ones.
Oh. Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones here.
Not trying to butter you up.
We need to make sure and look for places that are wearing thin so we don't get them lined up. It's flattering as hell to be able to feel like a hero to a young woman who is now grown up, you know, and now continuing to do extremely well with training and educationally, keeping up on her grades so that she can then come to us in the summertime. You know, she is one of the kinds of youth where you just want to help them because they want to work so hard and they have such a commitment.
And what was it like for the two of you as you're riding around, both summer and winter, just this year-round aspiration of being some of the top dog sledders around?
It's really fun to share. You know, what's it worth if you're not sharing it? Not much. When I say G and they start to go, then you get off the brake.
Okay.
Lobo! And they might take a couple of false starts till they go, and as soon as they do, then you follow them. I feel so grateful for having gotten good at something, to be able to share it. What they don't know is they're helping me stay happy. Because I wouldn't be happy doing this if I couldn't share it. Hi. Drive gently, not 10 in the water. Hi, fuerte. Put your feet up. Riley, leave her alone.
Jeff's got 4 Iditarod championships. Do you someday want to try to grab that?
I want to try my hardest. A lot of these mushers will talk about this sort of tranquil experience out on the trail and how they reach like a peaceful state of mind. I really want to feel like that one-on-one connection with the dogs. And I think the Iditarod would be a good place to do it. Everyone here loves dogs. Everyone here cares about dogs. And basically, if you care about dogs and are willing to put in the work, you can come be here and come find a home in mushing and come find a home in dogs.
When we come back, this midwife is bringing new life into a Missouri community.
We're celebrating Black lives, starting with the womb. I'm a midwife in Ferguson, Missouri, and so I support moms having the type of pregnancy and birth experiences that they want.
It's so bad.
Say, for instance, a Black woman presents to the emergency department with pain. She is more likely to be not taken serious. If a white woman comes in with those same symptoms, she's going to be taken more serious.
We're celebrating Black lives, starting with the womb, for Black people to be treated equitable manner. So that's what we're doing here. We're respecting and honoring moms and families. We're empowering them. We're giving them choices and options.
Black men in our culture, pregnancy isn't a thing that a lot of us talk about, you know, and I feel like you did a really great job at handling the man side as well.
Oh, okay. You all are a part of my heart, like forever. So I seen myself in you, you know, when I was young and I was trying to find my way to like being empowered and being better. When Black mamas and babies die in childbirth, they die from preventative reasons. Better care could have been provided. So they're dying from hemorrhaging. They're dying from botched C-section repairs, you know. So what we're doing is to provide accessible and affordable midwifery care to urban families, especially families who are low income. Before Jemima Birth Village was born and brought here to Ferguson, there were no options like this at all in the city of St. Louis. I've been a part of over 300 birthing experiences here just since 2015. So this is the fetoscope here, and what I'm gonna do is give you these so that you can try to listen. Now it's gonna be really subtle. It sounds like you may be hearing something. Good, you're doing a good job. Oh.
It's so fast.
It's really fast.
How do I get one of these?
We're not just showing up at your birth when the baby's hanging out just so that we can catch the baby. We're there during the duration of your labor and birth experience. Way to go!
How did you decide to become a doula and then a midwife?
I was pregnant at 13. I wasn't given a lot of chances and opportunities or choices. A couple of years later, I came across a book called Spiritual Midwifery, but the problem was that I didn't see any Black faces in that book.
From a physician perspective, there's a lot of misunderstandings, really, about exactly what a midwife is and what they do. And we look at the adverse events that have occurred. Many of those women would end up in the emergency department, and the obstetrician would then have to take over the care. Until I met True, I didn't realize these are healthcare professionals who have trained for the work that they do, and they are certified to do it. And their focus is on patient safety and quality, just like our focus is.
Safe home births and safe out-of-hospital births really depend on the proximity to the nearest hospital just in case something happens.
Right. Here in the United States, there is about 8% of births that are attended by midwives, and our maternal mortality rate is higher. The majority of those are in-hospital births, about 1.5% are out-of-hospital births. Integrating midwifery into our healthcare systems will help to drive down our maternal mortality rate.
Hi, how are you? You're so silly.
So who is this beautiful little baby?
This right here is Addison Corey.
Addison Corey. A lot of energy, huh? Tell me about Addison Corey's birth.
So Addison Corey was born right here. Went in the bedroom, and I had to squat down and push her out. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It was definitely spiritual. And it's more intimate too, because you get to set up the type of environment. You get to spend more time with your loved ones at home without a lot of people walking in and out. We are so grateful that we found Jamal. It meant family from the first get-go. Even when we didn't have money to pay for certain things, she was just a blessing.
Holding her up.
You were, Corey was behind holding her up.
For a lot of Black men in our culture, pregnancy isn't a thing that a lot of us talk about, you know? And I feel like you did a really great job at handling the man side as well.
Oh, okay. You all are a part of my heart, like forever. So I seen myself in you, you know, when I was young and I was trying to find my way to like being empowered and being better.
After the break, we meet the mother of craft beer.
I am not going to have a man bun, and guess what? I'm not going to have a beer, and I'm not going to wear grungy flannels, what most craft brewers look like. My name is Carol Stout, and I'm known as the mother of craft beer. It's going to be very good.
I'm Michael Giacomelli. I'm Carol's lead brewer here at Stout's Brewing Company.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
She's been in the game longer than you've been alive.
I am not going to have a man bun, and guess what? I'm not going to have a beer, and I'm not going to wear grungy flannels, what most craft brewers look like. Well, that's not me.
You've been brewing here for 30 years.
31 years.
31?
Right. Started
leading the pack.
May of 1987. First microbrewery in Pennsylvania.
Right. And certainly the first one led by a woman.
That's right, in the United States. These are the lager cellars. So here's where we have a lot of our new ales. 80% of foam is flavor. Did you know that?
So you want to keep that foam.
When a bartender serves you a beer without any head, you should say, listen, I want some head on this beer because I want to get some flavor and know what type of beer this is.
Wow. What is your role within this brewery?
I'm the lead brewer, and I do pretty much most of the brewing and filtering here. I started serving here about in 2015, and I slowly just worked my way over into lead brewer. I started out cleaning kegs in here, and then eventually starting to keg, and working on the bottling line to brewing and filtering all the beer.
Wow, working your way up fast.
Yeah, about 3 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of the nicknames around here for Carol?
The Queen of Hops. She is one of the most refined palates out there. She does judging at the Great American Beer Festival.
And they trust her judgment.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If she sips a beer, she knows if it's good.
Yep.
And what did Carol teach you about this business?
Anything's possible, really. You know, she started from the ground up and worked her way up into this beautiful place.
Raising 5 kids while doing all this, huh? Mm-hmm. You had been a kindergarten teacher, eventually kind of jumped into the world of brewing. How was that transition?
It was hard for me to get financing because people weren't expecting of a female to be in brewing. Beer was a man's drink. Women, maybe they didn't drink, or if they did, they drank a glass of wine.
And you've helped to change that.
Absolutely. I knew nothing about selling. I could now make beer. Now I had to learn how to sell this stuff. Anyone that would call me up and say, I'd like to have Stout's beer, I'd sell it to them. Whether it was Boston, Chicago, New York, North Carolina. I actually pulled out of a lot of areas and focusing now in the last couple years in my home state, because I really believe success is local and regional.
And so how much are you cranking out then?
We're doing about 9,000 barrels a year.
9,000?
We brewed probably over 1,000 beer styles in our 31 years, and we always have anywhere between 12 and 14 beers on draft.
What makes you a brewmaster?
It's easy to do as long as you have good work ethics, you know what you're doing, a little science background, a little artistic background, good taste buds.
Yeah, make that liquid gold.
Liquid gold.
That's the stuff you see in commercials. Prost.
Prost.
So Mike here kind of looks like the microbrew man. He's got the man bun, he's got that hipster vibe.
Michael actually started with us as a bartender, and great work ethics, and makes great beers, and he had an interest in brew. He also did beer sampling for us way before, so why not give him a turn to learn in the brewery?
And what do you say to all the young people who are thinking now about starting their microbreweries? What's your advice?
Well, first of all, you should work at brew pubs, all different sizes, small, medium, and large. Work in the production facility after that to get a feel for bottling, get a feel for kegging, get a feel for cleaning, because you have to know everything in a microbrewery. You're not just a brewer. You're not just a kegger. You learn to do everything. And so get the experience to see if this is really what you want. You have to really love it. It's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah, it's hard work. It's not the cleanest, but it's
You don't have to go to the gym though, because you're lifting those.
I know we saw this guy hauling around some stuff.
Yeah, I think on an average brew day, I get in about 7 miles. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you say to guys who think, hey, beer, this is our domain, when you have a boss like Carol?
Oh, it's totally a girl's world too. There's enough room for everyone.
This is it.
Yeah.
It's not me or Michael. It's all about the beer.